Hi, fun recap here. Today, I'll be explaining an interesting Ghanaian movie titled The Burial of Kojo. Have fun watching. The movie begins with a story of a couple who lived on an island where they fell in love, got married, and had a beautiful daughter. In the next scene, we see the young girl having a conversation with her father on the river, and she tells him to never leave her because if he does, she will follow him and go look for him. Kojo then promised his daughter that he would never leave her side, and they went home after that. Kojo's wife, on the other hand, grew tired of living on the island and wanted to see the outside world. But because her husband wasn't willing to take them out, she left severally but then came back to her family. Anytime she left, she came back again, and her husband was always around waiting for her to return. He would embrace his wife whenever she returns from her trip. The island was quiet and isolated with few people living on the river, so Kojo's wife tried severally convincing her husband to allow them move to the city where they can live a better life, make more money, and give their daughter a better life. But whenever she raised the topic, her husband refuses, saying that they are better on the river. We then see Kojo playing with his daughter one afternoon when a man visited them unexpectedly and handed her a bird and told her that it was her duty to protect it from the crow because the crow wants to take it away and hurt it. And the girl promised to take good care of the bird, after which the man left. That night when they slept, she had a dream that she was on a land where people lived upside down, then was later being chased by people she didn't know because of the bed she had, but she refused to give it to them and kept running with the bed till she woke up. When she told her father about her dream, he said she was just imagining things because of the bed someone handed to her that she should go back to sleep. Kojo's elder brother, who lived in the city, came to the river just to look for his younger brother. When he saw Kojo, he told him that it's been years since he left home and that he had to return with him because their mother was sick and needed to see him. That night when they were having supper, Kojo's daughter refused to eat and her uncle gave her money to go and buy whatever she wanted. After she left, they had a conversation about the issue and the reason why he came there as adults, and Kojo agreed to go back with him together with his family. That same night, the girl saw the crow outside and this scared her, causing her to run back to the man who brought her the bed. That was when the man explained to her how important it was for her to protect the bird from the crow because the crow meant no good and just wanted to hurt the bird and take it to an afterland. She then understood the gravity of the situation at hand. Kojo also had sleepless nights thinking about him having to move back to the city where he came from. He then remembered the painful experiences he had, which caused him to run away from home and start his life afresh on the river. Apparently, he fell in love with a woman who got married to his elder brother Kofi instead. This broke his heart, and so because of that, he got really drunk on their wedding night. That night, there was a terrible car accident, an experience he never wants to remember. The next morning, he moved back to the city with his family. His daughter took the bed along as well. When they arrived at the city, his brother Kofi went to pick them from the station in a taxi to their house. When they got home, his mother was very happy to see them, so she welcomed them warmly. In the next scene, we see them at a cemetery where they mourn Kofi's late wife, who died on their wedding night as a result of the car accident which happened due to a fight which happened between Kojo and Kofi because of her. It's been 7 years since she died, but every year on the same day, Kofi celebrates their wedding anniversary while mourning her at the same time. He was glad that at least he had his brother and sister-in-law with him this time around. That night, the two brothers had a conversation about what kind of job they could do to earn money, especially Kojo because that was the main reason why he relocated to the city. And Kofi reminded him of going back to mine gold illegally because it was something they used to do before he left. And ever since he left, even though they stopped mining gold. He has heard of others who have made lots of money from it. But Kojo refused to engage in illegal mining because he felt it was too dangerous. Kojo later went to see an old friend they used to mine with and asked him few questions about the business, and he explained things to him. That business is slow, but he thinks they will get something if they give it a try. The next day, his daughter had a dream about the crow returning again, which scared her. She later tells her father about her dream, and he tells her to let him know when next the crow appears in her dream. That night, Kojo went mining with his brother and some friends and finds gold in the process, which they later sold to a wealthy man who was well known for buying gold. In the next scene, we see Kojo telling his brother that the money they made from selling the gold was too small, that he wasn't interested in mining gold anymore. And his brother tells him that it's because the gold wasn't big enough, that he knows a spot they can get more gold and sell, from which they would make more amount of money. The next day, Kojo and his wife takes their daughter to a church for her to be prayed for because of the dreams she has been having about the crow. While the pastor was preaching, Kojo had a vision that he was baptized, and right after he got out of the water, he saw the same bird his daughter has been protecting dead on the river. Just then, his wife woke him up, and that was when he realized the bird wasn't ordinary. When they got home that day, they found the bird dead in its cage and they buried it. After that, he has a conversation with his daughter, and she tells him that he's very sure it was the crow who killed the bird. His father tells her not to worry, that he believed her now. His brother, on the other hand, kept convincing him to let them go try mining at that spot he spoke about earlier, and Kojo finally agrees to give it a try. That night when they slept, Kojo's mother kept having memories about her boys fighting when they were children, and how Kofi almost drowned Kojo to death if she hadn't appeared at the scene early. The next day, Kojo and his brother left home early to go and mine. He followed Kofi to the spot he said he knew they could get more gold from, even though the place was very far from home and looked very dangerous. Kofi kept encouraging Kojo that everything was going to be okay, so he followed. Kofi then took Kojo to a place where a deep hole had been dug and told him that was the spot they were to get the gold from. But even before Kojo asked how they were going to get in, he slapped him and pushed him into the hole. He then left him and ran quickly away from the place. Few days passed and Kojo hadn't still returned home, which got his family worried, and they started looking for him everywhere. His wife then took the case to the police station and sought help in finding her husband. Meanwhile, Kojo was still in the pit fighting for his life, even though he was dying slowly. That night, Kojo's daughter had a dream where she saw her father in an afterland and takes a stroll with him. When she woke up, she went directly to where they had buried the bed and checked on it. She passed out and woke up at an unknown place where she sees her uncle Kofi smoking. She approached him and asked him about his father, but all he had to say was that his father was safe at where he's supposed to be resting. She asked more questions, and her uncle tells her about the accident which happened years ago, that during the night of the accident he died together with his wife, that Kojo was also supposed to die together with them, but he luckily survived, and that was why he came back to get him. He made the little girl understand that he has been dead all this while, that his father only assumed he was still alive because he couldn't accept losing the love of his life and his brother on the same day. And ever since they died, they've been restless without Kojo, and that is why he has come to get him. So now they are complete. The girl then realized the bird she has been protecting all this while was her father, Kojo, and the crow, which was after the life of the innocent bird, was his uncle, Kofi. After realizing that her father's life depended on her and has always depended on her, she started running towards where she has kept the bird because she knew she was the only one who could save him, and that was the reason why the bird was given to her to protect. When she got to the place, she went directly to where she had kept the bird after removing it from the pit and freed it. The girl kept following the bird till it took her to where her father was. The bird located her father, after which a search team were able to rescue him and he was taken to the hospital. His daughter tried all effort to wake him up, but he was already dead. After his death, he joined his late brother and sister-in-law where they had been waiting for him. His family buried him where they had buried his late brother and sister-in-law. On their way home after Kojo's funeral, his daughter remembers memories of her and her father and how peaceful life was when they were on the river, while his mother sat quietly crying. In the last scene, we see Kojo's daughter telling her story to some group of people, after which they applaud her. The Burial of Kojo, the end. Thank you for watching to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos like this. See you on the next episode.